I love wrestling and you love wrestling, then we love
You're not here, you missing out. Is this show? Welcome to the We Love Wrestling Spot. My name is Terry. I'm with Nicole from Down from the County. I'm with Maddie from Top Rope Squishy. And today, it's a good day. You know, when we talk to people, it's a certain promotion that I get excited about talking to people. But this person right here is a prodigy, a 19-year-old prodigy. She's been prodigy in wrestling for a long time. And we are able to have this conversation with her. We are with Miss Rok-C. How are you doing today, man?
Hello, I'm good. How are you guys?
We're doing good. Everybody good?
Everybody's good.
All good.
So the first question I usually ask before I kick it over to the ladies is, what started your love for wrestling, or why do you love wrestling?
I feel like there's like so many different aspects of wrestling that I just love. So I was actually a fan of The Rock because of his movies at first. And then there's this one day when my dad was like flipping through the channels, and then I believe it was like Monday Night Raw, and The Rock happened to be on. And I was like, wait. Like, I love him. Keep it there. So I stayed watching like his little segment, and then I just stayed watching the rest of Monday Night Raw, and I was just like hooked. Like a few months later, he took me to my first wrestling show, and again, I just fell in love with it, and I was like, I'm gonna do that when I'm older. And everybody was like, yeah, right, sure. But yeah, I was very serious.
Is that how you got your name?
A little bit, yeah. So I came up with my name when I was like 10. Like, me and my mom like just were, like I said, I've always been so serious about it, and like I was just talking to my mom about it, and I was like, I want to come up with a wrestling name, and we were just like throwing stuff out there, and then The Rock came up, and then yeah, it just happened.
Okay.
But actually, before like my first match, they were like, you need to come up with a name, and I was like under pressure, and I was like, actually I already have one. So I just used it.
Okay. I was gonna ask who was your, but The Rock is the person guy. Thank you, Rock, for giving us Rok-C. Let's see. Let's go over to who want to go next, Maddie, because I'm gonna come back later. You know, I got a whole reason why I'm here. So, Maddie, we're gonna go ahead and let you get in.
Yeah. Thanks, Rok-C, for joining us.
Of course.
So we were talking about how you started when you were 13 years old.
Yeah.
How was that? Like, what kind of experience is that? Because I'm guessing like at 13, you're probably one of the youngest people when you enter this world. So how was that experience?
It was I guess kind of confusing at first because like when I first started training, I was like so excited, and I was just like, this is like a dream of mine, all I wanted to do was just wrestle. And then like I remember I had I'm sorry, I'm like losing my train of thought. But there was this one show where it was in Laredo, so it was like a very small show, and I had like a dark match, and I like brought in all my family. I sold a bunch of tickets because the way it worked when I first started was you sell your tickets, they give you tickets, you sell them, and then however much money you make, you get like half of that. So let's say you don't sell any tickets, you don't get any money.
Oh my God.
Yeah. But yeah, I like sold a bunch of tickets to my family. They were super excited. They were all there, and then they cut my match, and I was like, "What?"
Oh my
I was so sad. Yeah, but so I guess like those parts were a little like, I guess like confusing because I was just like, "Dang it!" Like. And then it was kind of hard because it was just like, well, I'm very young, so obviously people are not really going to take a 14-year-old seriously, a 15-year-old seriously, because it's just like, I'm surrounded by all of these like adults. So I was just like, you know what? I didn't really like let those things like get me down. I kind of used them as fuel and was like, okay, if people don't believe in me right now, well, I'm going to make them believe in me. And now I'm the prodigy.
Look at you. 17-year-old sensation is what you're calling you at one point. So During this time when you were starting, it was confusing, it was a little rough. Did you find someone in the wrestling world that inspired you, that helped you, that gave you advice, that you looked up to, that gave you that fire to keep going so that you can get to where you are now, which is incredible?
I definitely have like so many like there's so many people I need to thank because luckily when I first started I did have like a lot of people to have my back and stuff, especially a lot of like the guys, because especially since I was probably like the only girl here in
Mm,
Laredo, and then I was also really young. So I did have like those like brother figures, I guess, that always like had my back and kept me safe, which was like I feel like that was so important to have. But yeah, there's a couple I can name, like George Benavides and Johnny Angel. They are wrestlers from Laredo, and they actually were my first trainers. Kylie Ray is like a big one. She always gave me like so much advice. In wrestling, and who else? The Tessa Blanchard and Daga. They're two of like my mentors. Daga is actually my trainer, and
wow.
he is awesome. I remember him telling me like when I first started, like I didn't understand it at first, but he would
Hmm.
always tell me like wrestling is a roller coaster. You're gonna have
Mm,
times when you're up here, you're gonna have times when you're down here, but like you need to keep that same mentality
hmm.
throughout all of those things. And like now I'm like starting to really understand it, but
Hmm.
having those people in my life to where like I obviously like keep those things in the back of my head, and so even
Hmm.
if I don't understand them at that time, later on as I'm like going along my wrestling journey, I remember it and I'm like, oh, this is what they were talking about.
Yeah. And I mean, talking about roller coasters, we just went, we're going through one right now with the
Yeah,
pandemic.
exactly.
So, and your career is so young, the pandemic hit. How did that affect you? Like,
it
did it?
was
Hmm.
it was pretty hard because so I actually graduated like during the pandemic. So
Oh,
I,
you
I
had
had like a
a
small ceremony in like June, I believe. But it was weird at first because I was very used to just like going to school and then training and then
hmm.
traveling on weekends, and it was just like that. It was just like I was just on repeat, and it was just how do you say it, like a routine. So
Hmm.
it was kind of weird, and I'm sure like everybody, this goes for everybody that struggled in the pandemic. Like it was weird to just like stop the routine and just like stay locked in your home all day.
Right.
So yeah, it was kind of tough at first. I
Did you keep
realized like
training?
I didn't get to keep training at first. I was like doing some workouts in my backyard and stuff just to keep like my cardio up and whatnot. But it was kind of hard to stay motivated just because um, it's easy for me to stay motivated when I have bookings coming up, because I'm like, okay, I need to work out because like I have this show coming up, and I need to do this because I have this show coming up. And then when you have like nothing, and it's like you need to stay motivated because eventually wrestling's gonna come back. You don't know when, but eventually
Right.
it will. And that was kind of the hard part, was like, well, when is it gonna come back? And like
Right.
you don't have that motivation some days. So it was hard, but uh everything's kind of, I guess,
It's
like,
working out
yeah, shows
slowly
are
but
kind of coming
surely.
back up, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Eventually, I think we're gonna hit that new normal, and things are just gonna start to flow again.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have like one more question before I pass it on to Nicole. So you've wrestled against people like Priscilla Kelly and Alex Gracia. So who up to this point has been what you consider your toughest match, and who are you looking forward to going up against that you haven't yet?
Hmm. So whenever people ask me this now, um at first it was my match against Tyon for the Raw Diamonds Division Championship, but it's a like hard toss up between my match versus Tyon and my match versus Billy Starks pretty recently. Um, Billy Starks is amazing. She's freaking, I think she's 16. She's like Prodigy number 2, but she's freaking amazing. Like I think she's gonna do like super 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 crazy amazing things in this business. So yeah, if you guys haven't checked that match out, it's on YouTube now. So it's on New
Check it out.
Texas Pro YouTube channel. But who would I want to wrestle? My answer for that would have been Deonna Purrazzo, but I am going to be wrestling her Mania Week in Tampa, Florida for New Texas Pro. So I am so, 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 so excited for that and super ready. So yeah.
Yay! Thank you, Rok-C. I'm
Of
going to pass it
course.
on to my girl, Nicole.
Hey, Roxy, thank you so
Hi.
much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to talk with us a little bit.
Of
So you
course.
kind of touched upon this a little bit earlier, was having a balance and routine between finish between school and wrestling. So how hard was that juggling, especially high school nowadays? I feel like it's 10 times harder than it was when I was not only with the schoolwork, but the social media and just the way society kind of is in general. So, how difficult was that juggling being a student and then also a student, just a regular student, but also being a wrestler on top of that?
So I feel like because a lot of people would ask me that at the time that I was in high school, and they'd be like, "How do you do it?" And I was like, I don't know. I just do it. But I was also I was taking high school classes, and then I was also taking college classes in high school, and then yeah, I had wrestling and um, like house duties and stuff like that.
Hmm.
I'm a wrestler, but I still have chores and all of that. So yeah. I don't know. I feel like maybe I was a little burnt out because
Hmm.
I feel like I probably felt that when I had to just stop everything. Because, like I said earlier, it was very weird to just like have that routine where I was just always, always, always doing something and always on the go, and then it stopped, and I was just like, what? This is weird. So yeah, it definitely took a little bit of a toll on my mental health. Um, and
Hmm.
I just wasn't sure why, but I'm pretty sure that's exactly why. So yeah, it was fun though. I feel like my parents were always a little worried because they were just like don't don't like miss out on your childhood. Like yes,
Yes.
like wrestle, but don't miss out on your childhood. And I definitely understand like where they're coming from, but um, I feel like maybe like it's not like I was dreading everything I was doing. Like
Yeah.
everything I was doing, I was having so much fun, and I feel like I was just making my own childhood memories. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna look back on that eventually and be like, wow, I was having so much fun. you know, I'm not gonna look back on it and be like, like that sucked. So it was fun. It was definitely like a lot, but it was fun.
That's amazing. And also just one more question, and obviously we talk about because you're the prodigy, and we talk so much about how amazing you are at such a young age, and we've been kind of seeing more of an upstart of people starting to train when they're super young and start to get in the business way younger instead of how it was back in the day when all these dudes were in their late 20s, early 30s. So how do you feel about being a inspiration or being a potential inspiration to kids who are like, "Hey, I love this now. I might as well just start getting at it now."
I feel like that was always my intention and my goal
Hmm.
was just to like I feel like that honestly is one of my favorite parts of wrestling is just being able to inspire like this whole group of younger people. Um, it just like it melts my heart whenever I get like a DM from
Oh,
a little girl or like a video sent to me or like I see like I meet a little girl and they're like crying and I'm like what this is crazy because I was like once me. um
yeah.
but it's just an amazing feeling because like I said like that was just always my intention. um I I I feel like I went through a lot, even though I started very young, but I was able to like prove myself, and I was able to do it on my own, you know. Um, so how I said before, I did have some trouble where people wouldn't take me seriously, but now I'm still very young, and I'm doing like these things in the business, and that's just like I said, my only intention was just to be an inspiration to all these little girls. So if my story can maybe help a little 13-year-old girl that wants to start training but just doesn't know how, like, internally to like get started, like I want to be that inspiration for those people, you know.
I absolutely love that, and I commend you so much for being as young as you are, but also understanding how much of an impact that you can make on so many people's lives. So I commend you so much for that.
Thank you.
Um, and then I'm going to kick it off back to Terry. But again, thank you so much for speaking with us today.
Of course, thank you for having me.
Can you hear me? Okay, I'm here. I was over here moving around because we usually interview people, and I'm like, yo, have I seen Rok-C live?
Have
And I'm not. Okay, so I have this Shimmer poster from March 29th, 2019. I believe you were on that
I
show.
was there. Yeah, I was there.
Because we took a big picture with all the reality of wrestling people, but I couldn't remember. So I'm like, was she on that show? Because
Yeah,
I
I
might.
was on that show. I wasn't like wrestling regularly with reality wrestling yet at that time, but I was at that show. I did
Did
I
you do
believe I
Rise the night before?
I did Rise, so I wrestled against Sue. It was like in a tag team match,
Mm-hmm.
so I was on Chris Wolf's team, and then I did like a battle royal the next day at Shimmer.
See, that's okay. Because I do the Shimmer weekend since like 2016. I was like, has she did Shimmer yet? So that's
Yeah.
good. So as we're talking about your matches, here coming this Saturday, you have a match with another young up and coming star in the wrestling independent scene that I like to call one of my friends, Sky Blue.
Yes.
Are you prepared for that match?
I am overly prepared.
Because she debuted at Generation Championship Wrestling in the Diamond Cup, and everyone's been talking about her. So to see, as we call you, the Prodigy versus, I like to call her the Future. Um, have you been checking her out? Like, you're ready for the match, but is there anything about her that when you see her, do you see like similar styles that you two have?
Yeah, so I feel like a couple people have actually told me that. Like they're like, "Oh, she reminds me of you." And I think she's just so awesome. I'm like in love with. So my favorite wrestlers growing up were The Rock and AJ Lee, and Sky Blue rocks those Converse, and I commend her for that. But she's pretty awesome. I've been like looking at her stuff for a while, and yeah, I think that our styles are gonna mesh really well in the ring. So I'm pretty excited. I'm pretty excited to wrestle her.
Generation Championship Wrestling, the Love of Wrestling 3. Saturday, March 13th on the Title Match Network. If you're in town in Sanford, Florida, CrossFix Exalted, you'll be able to watch the event live. Now, Rok-C, you did mention earlier about your mania, so this all ties in. Generation Championship Wrestling has run this town this Wrestlemania weekend. You will be
Yeah.
facing, as you said, Deanna Perrazzo on the 9th, which is a part of that with New Texas Pro.
Yes.
She's been talking. She actually said she's been waiting to have a match with you also.
Yeah, I've been seeing like actually throughout like the pandemic, she was posting some stuff on her Twitter. Whenever people would ask like, "Oh, like who do you want to wrestle?" and she mentioned me. Sorry about that noise.
You're good.
Pretty loud, right? Let me move. Settings. um. Uh. Oh yeah. So I saw that she had mentioned that she wanted to wrestle me, so that kind of kept me pretty motivated during the pandemic. So yeah, I'm like really really excited about that. I've been when I first started on the independent scene, I didn't know much about the independent. Yeah, I didn't know much about the independent scene. I just thought, it was just WWE. So when I did start like watching way more wrestling when I first started training, I came across Diana Perrazzo, and I just think she's like so amazing, and like she's so like she's very like technical in the ring, and I feel like I fall under that a little bit under that category too, but so like sorry.
You're good. You're good.
So yeah, like I said, I feel like just like mine and Sky's, like mine and Deanna's styles will mesh really well. So I'm again super excited for that.
Okay. Now, since we're on here, we named 2 matches that you got coming up. I always ask people this question: if you could name 3 wrestlers out here that you would like to face, do you have 3 names?
I figure we would include everyone just so you could have a wider spectrum of people to pick from.
Okay, so I like really 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 want to wrestle Alexa Bliss for some reason. I want to wrestle Alexa Bliss. I want to wrestle. I really want to wrestle Anna Jay.
It's gonna be a
I know
while.
she's I know
Yeah.
she's hurt right now, but when she's back and she's ready, like I would love to wrestle her. The third person, probably I've been watching so much Mako Satomura recently, and I think she's freaking amazing. And one day, just one day, I really hope that like I could wrestle her.
She's on my Mount Rushmore. She's
She's a
one of the
legend.
goats.
She's a legend.
She's one of them. That Scorpio rising boy. Ooh, it got me hyped. All right, guys. Before we do the last spot here, do you have any other questions?
Just thank you and good luck, on your future. I know you're going to be great. So looking forward to more of your matches.
Thank you so much.
And then the same with me. I'm super excited to see where you go in the future, and I am so excited for your match with Deanna Prazo. She's also one of my current favorite, not even just women's wrestlers, but wrestlers. Right now, I think she's doing some of her best work. So I'm so excited to see what you guys can do in the ring come Tampa weekend. So thank you again for speaking with us.
Thank you.
All right, Roxy. The last thing we do here, we call it our "Put Yourself Over" moment. We ask you to just let the people know your social media. If you got a YouTube, anywhere they can go support you. Anything you got coming up that you want the people to know about, we just ask you to put yourself over.
Okay. So my Instagram is @_ROKC. My Twitter is the Roxy _ and my Facebook is Roxy. So that's ROK-C. And then I also have a pro wrestling tee store up. So that'll be at prowrestlingtees.com/TheRealRoxy. And I think that's pretty much about it. I do have a YouTube channel, and it's just ROK-C, but I haven't posted too much there. I'm gonna get better at posting on there. I might be doing like some vlogs and stuff pretty soon. So, yeah.
All right. Guys, I'll say this again. If you don't know who Roxy is, go to the YouTube, type in her name, put Rok-C versus, and watch some of the matches and get up to date, get to know her, because it's a group coming out, and she's one of them that'll be signed here. And then if not very soon, she'll be signed here soon. So you want to follow that. Rok-C, again, we like to thank you for giving us this time. Nicole, thank you for joining us from Down for the Count. Maddie from Top Rope Squishy. Guys, this Saturday, the Love of Wrestling 3 Generation Championship Wrestling Title Match Network, Rok-C versus Sky Blue.
Don't miss it.
Don't miss it. And probably the match of the night. I'm going to go ahead and just put it out there. But we thank you for giving us this time. We thank y'all for watching. And like I always say, guys, if I love wrestling and you love wrestling, then we love wrestling. It's too sweet for the culture.
Hey guys, how you doing? You should be here.
You should.
Shame on you, but have a nice day.